To be an art teacher, you have to have patience, dedication, and of course, a strong love for art. Lenape Valley Regional High School art teacher Sherry Carnegie takes this task to heart. With 31 years of teaching under her belt, she has a strong grasp of what it takes to be a good art teacher. She teaches a myriad of art classes, like photography and computer design. In her classes, she integrates many of her creative skills like painting, drawing, photography, and digital art. Not only does she teach art classes, she's also created classes that have changed the history of art education at Lenape Valley Regional High School. She also advises an art club that focuses on bettering the community through artistic endeavors. For Sherry Carnegie, being an art teacher has been a dream come true. Let's take a step inside her classroom to understand exactly what it takes to inspire young artists.
Hello and welcome back to Garden State of the Arts. I'm your host, Cece Bernstein, and with me today we have Sherry Carnegie. How are you doing today, Sherry?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Good. Sherry, what made you become an art teacher?
I would say from an early age, I really loved arts and crafts, and my first grade teacher did all these amazing art and craft projects with me. I just love that. My first elementary school art teacher just had a magical art room with all these different supplies that it just seemed so magical to be there, and I just couldn't wait to make things. I loved watching her paint these murals over the years in the school hallways that were Disney and Star Wars related. Then my third grade teacher, I think, really saw that I had some artistic talent, and she just ignited a fire in me to follow building my art skills. Then I got to high school, and I just think my high school art teacher really inspired me to go in that direction as just a wonderful role model for me in the classroom.
It's always great to have teachers who kind of foster that creativity and aspirations for their students.
Definitely.
What courses do you teach?
Well, I teach new media art, which is a fairly new art class at the high school where I'm at, and it's really 3D printed related with the combination of 3D printing and traditional art media projects. We study in there all different kinds of 3D printing artists that are in the world today and how 3D printers are being used to create art in all different kinds of ways. I also teach Introduction to Digital Photography. I teach Art for the School and Beyond. It's a service-related class. I'm very proud of that. That class is just all about making projects and learning about individuals that are artists around the world that make things to really benefit others in some way, whether we make things in the school that benefit others in some way within the walls of the school and even beyond the walls of the high school. I also teach studio art during the day. It's an upper level class, and I teach art portfolio, which is an honors level class.
Wow, it seems like you have a lot of courses on your hands.
Yeah, definitely.
What does a typical day as an art teacher look like for you?
So I think my day starts out with thinking about my plans that I have in place and looking them over and getting ready with art supplies, putting them out around the room for the students to use, and also starting to prepare for demonstrations that I'm going to be doing. Early on in the day, I'm also setting up the 3D printers to run the students' projects, that their files behind the scenes as I'm conducting my classes. I'm giving group instruction and also one-on-one instruction throughout the day as I go through my courses. And as I have some free time, I'm meeting with all different kinds of people, maybe my colleagues or let's say student services individuals, and also the administration to work on all different kinds of art-related, art department issues that are there and help students out behind the scenes.
Seems like a pretty busy day for you. We have some footage of one of your favorite projects. If
Sure.
you would like to talk to us a little bit about it.
Definitely. So this is one of my favorite projects. It is the famous Artist Puppet Show. It really started as a collaboration between myself and an elementary school art teacher from a local elementary school not far from the high school where I teach. I love this project because it really gets students of all levels, my art students of all levels, all art skills, and all different interests in art, working collaboratively together to build these puppets out of paper mache. They start out with balloons and they cover them with newspaper, and they're using all different kinds of material to build the bodies. They're also working with cardboard to build the stages, and they're also working with all different kinds of materials such as paper, magazine cutouts, printouts from things that they find on the internet, to show the characteristics of the famous artist's style as they're showcasing them really with the stages that they build. My students also would work on writing scripts to tell about the artists, and they're all putting this together to go to a local elementary school or two to tell and teach the first graders about these different artists, which include Warhol, as you see now. You can tell it's Warhol with the famous Marilyn Monroe picture there and the Campbell soup cans, and Muhammad Ali as a pop artist. And we also have covered Picasso over the years, Van Gogh, Rousseau, and Monet. So why this is one of my favorite projects is because it not only benefits my students through the whole process of making something for art and going out and having the experience of doing this, conducting the service of teaching the elementary school students about the famous artists, but it gets them to work collaboratively together. The young people in the first graders get to benefit by learning about artists that they would have covered with their first grade teacher. She covers these artists as part of the art history program at her school. And I just love it because everybody benefits in some way. It's a great experience overall, and my students have always told me many times that it's one of their best high school memories sometimes. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, well, it's a very well-rounded project. It's such a wonderful project because it incorporates art history, collaborative working, different mediums. So like, yeah, I definitely love that project.
Yes, thank you.
As a teacher, what strategies do you use to inspire creativity in your students, especially those who aren't really that into art?
Okay, so, over the years I've used a lot of different strategies. I start every year by building positive relationships with my students. Once I get those relationships established, students are much more ready to get to work on and get engaged in the activities. They're more receptive to hear what I have to say and build on their skills from all the wonderful things we're doing in the classroom together. In addition to that, I'm doing demonstrations for them, showing them examples of my own work to inspire them, going to the internet for all different kinds of visuals and information to use to help support what I'm trying to cover through my curriculum. And not only that, I go around and one-on-one instruction, group instruction, and encouragement is always really important. Encourage all of my students, no matter what level they're at. Everybody can be a wonderful artist in my art room, and I always try to promote that.
As I mentioned before, it's always good for students to have a teacher who inspires and fosters creativity. So it's wonderful that you give that to your students.
Thank you. Thank you.
So lastly, what is your greatest achievement in your career?
So my greatest achievement, I think, is a combination of several things. I think one of them is striving to be a teacher of the year. When I first started at the high school where I teach, I remember walking through the Commons and seeing a board on the wall that had all these wonderful teachers that had been selected to be Teacher of the Year. And my goal as a beginning new teacher was to surround myself with these individuals so I could learn from them to hopefully gain the skills that they had and eventually gain the respect of the students in the school, parents, administration, supervisors, my colleagues, my fellow colleagues, of course. And once that happened and I was selected Teacher of the Year, that really meant a lot to me.
That's amazing.
So,
thank you so much, Sherry, for talking with us.
You're welcome.
And thank you for watching Garden State of the Arts. Thank you for watching and see you next week.